Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Before we begin the presentation, I'd like to remind everyone present that this presentation is subject to internet webcast recording, where the proceedings may be broadcast live on the internet and capable of repeated viewing. If you are seated in a public area of the council chamber, it is likely your image will be captured by recording cameras and result in your image become part of the broadcast. This may infringe your human rights, and if you wish to avoid this, you should leave the public seating area in the main body of the council chamber and move to the upper gallery. Could I ask everyone to note the fire safety instruction that on hearing the alarm, you should leave the building and congregate at an assembly point in the north front car park. Also switch off your mobile phone. Item 1, apologies for absence. Apologies have been received from Councillor Baldock, Clark, McShane and Murphy and Mayo. Are there any others? Item 2, declaration of interest. Are there any declarations of interest at this stage? Item 3, honorary title of Freeman of the Borough. It is recommended at a council meeting on the 10th of December 2025 that the council bestows the honorary title of Freeman of the Borough of Brentwood to Mr. Barry Hearn, OBE. I will now ask the Chief Executive, Jonathan Stevenson, to read out the citation for the recipient of the Freeman of the Borough.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Mayor, honorary guests. It is with immense pride and heartfelt appreciation that we put forward Barry Hearn, OBE, for this prestigious title of Freedom of the Borough of Brentwood. This nomination recognises not only his outstanding achievements in sport and business, but also the lasting and meaningful contributions he has made to our community. As founder and president of Matchroom Sport, Barry Hearn has transformed the landscape of both British and global sport. From its base here in Brentwood, Matchroom has grown into a world-leading organisation in snooker, darts, boxing and pool, bringing these sports to millions across the globe. His vision, drive and innovation have built a legacy that continues through his family with Eddie and Katie Hearn, ensuring that Matchroom remains synonymous with excellence, entertainment and community spirit. Barry's connection to Brentwood is deep and enduring. He has brought major sporting events to the borough, including the World Cup of Pool and the English Open, attracting visitors from across the world, boosting local pride and raising Brentwood's profile. Beyond sport, his contribution to the community is equally significant. As a supporter and minority shareholder of Brentwood Town Football Club, he has helped strengthen grassroots football through investment, sponsorship and outreach. His commitment to wider well-being is evident in his advocacy for men's health, including hosting a major prostate cancer screening event in partnership with CHAPS. Through the Matchroom Charitable Foundation, Barry has also ensured that success is shared. The foundation supports a wide range of causes, including local hospices, schools, sports teams, and medical charities across Essex, demonstrating a genuine commitment to giving back. His sponsorship of the Brentwood Half Marathon over 5 years secures the future of a much-loved community event, supporting local causes while promoting health, unity and participation. In every respect, Barry Hearn exemplifies a person of distinction. His leadership, generosity and dedication have enriched our borough, enhanced his reputation and positively impacted countless lives. For these reasons, we respectfully ask that the Brentwood Borough Council confer upon Barry Hearn, OBE, the title of Freedom of the Borough of Brentwood in recognition of his remarkable achievements and continued service to our community. Thank you.
Councillor Aspinall, please move the recommendation.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I so move the recommendation containing more than that citation does. Simply to say that Barry has, whilst he's been in Brentwood, has grown enormously, not him personally, but his business has, and we all reflect in that glory of that business. Anybody that's watched Netflix and the Matchroom Experience will understand that Brentwood, in Barry's eyes, means a lot. And he has helped put Brentwood on the map enormously. I hope he continues. East End boy done good. Thank you.
Thank you. May I ask group representatives, do you have a seconder? Councillor Worsfold.
Very happy to second that. Can I just add a little bit to what Barry said? As a long-term Leyton Orient season ticket holder, I have a deep sense of gratitude for Barry Hearn for the 12 years that he looked after our club, rescued it from a dire situation, and no fault of his that, unfortunately, the person that bought it from him turned out not to be everything that he made himself out to be. But like most Leyton Orient fans, we're genuinely deeply grateful for the years that you looked after our club and the many successes we enjoyed during that period.
Thank you. May I ask group representatives if they would like to speak? Councillor Aspinall? You've already spoken. Councillor Parker.
On a slightly lighter note than the official recommendation, I had the privilege to second the motion at full council that brought it to this evening's meeting. It was a privilege for me to second the motion to honour Barry, Maurice William Hearn, OBE, with the highest award this borough can give. I have several pages of achievements that Barry has notched up over the years, but I, as usual, have been warned not to speak too long, as I would. Which reminds me of the time Barry was our guest speaker at Brentwood Business event at the Brentwood Centre, a venue Barry knows well. He, Barry, was the last to speak. After a very long day and after being introduced, his first words were that he had been given 20 minutes to speak. He told everyone present he couldn't possibly adhere to that, so be ready for a long session, which was not only very entertaining, but quite salty in its content. Also, I have put together some of the history of when Barry started as a teenager, his business interest at a young age, from picking fruit and vegetables to washing cars. Fast forward to Barry qualifying as an accountant, moving on to an investment company, and fast forward again, and Barry bought a snooker hall in Romford, which I know quite well. The same year, BBC Two began promoting snooker on coloured TV. Barry began promoting sporting events in 1974, and in 1977 became Steve Davis's manager, who went on to be 6 times world champion. In 1980, he formed Matchroom and added players such as Terry Griffiths, Dennis Taylor, Willie Thorne, Neil Folds, Jimmy White, Cliff Thorburn and Ronnie O'Sullivan. Everything Barry has done brings forth a large list of well-known sporting events or stars from boxing, snooker, darts, pool, 10-pin bowling, table tennis and fishing. So it's no wonder that the sports that he and Matchroom promoted and invested in also sought his expertise, being chairman of the Professional Darts Corporation, chairman of the World Billiards and Snooker Association, and chairman of Leyton Orient Football Club. So it is no surprise that the promotional hub at Maskell's is the 3rd richest in UK sport, valued at 1.035 billion. But though we are proud to have such a successful business based in Brentwood, this award is about the man who, as a promotional entrepreneur, made all this possible. Finally, I would like to refer back to the speech Barry made at the Brentwood Centre. He told the tale during COVID. His son Eddie suggested that they hold a boxing event in the grounds of Maskell's. A suggestion, the impression was that Barry was not too keen at the time. Barry said to the audience that his son uttered the phrase that no parent likes to hear. I quote, "Dad, trust me." It was, of course, a success. So, members, trust me, this award, Freedom of the Borough of Brentwood, is well deserved. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Parker. Councillor Godfrey.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So I first met Barry a few years ago. We were both training at the same gym in Hutton. And I recall striking up a conversation with him while we were both on the treadmill, different treadmills. Some of you may not know, but Barry was a very competent runner. And this was evident as he could speak in full sentences while running, whereas my contribution to the discussion was largely limited to single-syllable gasps. What struck me most wasn't his success, his reputation, or his achievements. It was how normal and how grounded he was. Here was someone who had achieved extraordinary things, yet who hasn't forgotten where he came from. And his roots in Brentwood run deep. Barry has done more than build businesses or promote sport. He has put Brentwood on the map, often without fanfare, and has remained approachable, generous, and unmistakably local throughout. I genuinely cannot think of a more deserving recipient of this award. Barry, congratulations and thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Godfrey. Councillor Aspinall, would you like to sum up?
Thank you, Mayor. I think everyone has said everything that they possibly could that's nice about Barry. There's lots of other things we could say, but that's not for this evening. And I congratulate Barry Hearn on receiving this honour. I think it is, as Mr Godfrey has said, the highest honour we can give, and it's well deserved. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Aspinall. We will now vote on the recommendation before us as moved by Councillor Aspinall and seconded by Councillor Worsfold as follows. Members are asked that in pursuance of section 2495 of the Local Government Act 1972 and in recognition of being a person of distinction and a person who has, in the opinion of the Council, rendered eminent services to the Borough, the Council admits Barry Morris William Hearn, OBE, to be honorary freeman of the Borough. All those in favour? The motion is carried. Congratulations, Mr Hearn. May I ask Mr Barry Hearn to come to the stand and read the declaration and receive the Freeman of the Borough badge.
This one. I, Barry Morris William Hearn, OBE, do solemnly and sincerely declare that I will be subject to all the good order and customs of this borough. I shall not do anything whereby this borough may be demeaned. If I happen to know of any conspiracy or mischief, I think we're in the right place for that, against this borough, I shall with all convenient speed disclose that same to the Mayor, and I do further declare that in all things I will act as a true and loyal freeman ought to.
Thank you.
Which one? Yeah. Very great. Thank you very much.
Can I just get you back to the side? Thank you. Fabulous, thank you.
Thank you. Can I say a few words? Yes, please. I did ask if I could say a few words because it's quite a long time to go after I finished, and I wanted to use a few minutes just to say, firstly, thank you. I am honoured, seriously honoured to receive this. This is my home. This is my place that I've built my business, grown my family, utilised the local schools, played for the local cricket club, watched my kids fail at most sports at a high level, but nevertheless have the same energy that I have in everything I do. I was born in Dagenham, so didn't quite qualify, but I spent the vast majority of my life in Essex, including in 1982, when I had the successful idea of approaching the Ford Motor Company at Whalley, as was then, to purchase or make an offer for the house called Maskell's, which was at that time occupied by the European director of Ford's. They had a number of large country houses in those days. Of course, modern economics says they don't have any now. But I bought it for the massive sum of 245,000 quid, which I still think is one of the best investments I've ever made. So it started off on the right foot. Unfortunately, I couldn't buy any more land around me. My neighbours decided they didn't want to sell a yard, and eventually I had to move out where I now live in East Hanningfield, south of Chelmsford, where my wife breeds thoroughbred racehorses and needed a lot more space. It was the only reason why I would have ever moved. In fact, I then decided that rather than sell Maskell's, because after 20 odd years it had become such an important home for me and my family, that we would keep it and we would see if we could do something with it rather than sell it. And this is where, and this is a message to all of you, where you need to be brave, where you need to make a decision looking at the big picture. And this affects all of us in our life. And I went to see a guy, I think his name, you may remember, Barry's old enough to remember. Was it Alan McClintock was the chief executive at the time? Bob McClintock, sorry, Bob. Alan McClintock was a partner in one of my accountancy companies in my early time. Bob McClintock, and I said, look, I know this is grade 2 listed building, wonderful. I don't want to sell it. I want to put my head office here, and I want to make sure that we can expand our business with this beautiful background in what is one of the loveliest places in our county. It was against all the rules, I think, at that time. But Bob saw the bigger picture and said, well, if you're going to bring your operation, that's got to be good for Brentwood, and you're going to employ local people, that's got to be good for Brentwood. And in the end, I don't know how he did it, but suddenly I got planning permission. And I remember when the inspector first came round, and we were quite a small company. You have to remember, 1982, Matchroom was formed. It was a £100 company. I'd made some money, which I subsequently lost in abundance, and some more. But in 1982, I was really quite wealthy. And I bought Maskell's. I had 2 lovely kids. My life was complete. I had a nice business. The Romford Billiard Hall was where I spent most of my time. And we just loved life. And then all of a sudden, everything came crashing down because things called recession hits everybody. And by the way, get ready because we've got a perler coming our way. So that's going to cause lots of problems as well for everybody. But as I say, McClintock got brave, got me permission. The inspector came round and said, how many people were you thinking of having in this building? 12, 13, something like that, but we're going to try and get bigger. And planning permission was granted. Today, there are 65 people at Maskell's, most of them locals, most of them earning a really good salary because we are, for some reason or the other, the good Lord smiles on me. I don't blame him. I think he's got a good choice. And we've become extremely successful. I don't really know how. I think we fluked most of it. Everything seemed to fit in at the right time. I bought snooker halls. 6 months later, the BBC put snooker on television. Everyone told me I was a genius. And I agreed with them. But of course I knew that I'd just fluked it. Steve Davis walked in. Some scruffy little kid, 17 years old, from South London. I don't normally go near anyone from South London. But I had a good day. He became my best friend, as he is to this day. And he was a great ambassador for British sport and has actually led the charge to make snooker the global success it's been. So along the way, I've had lots of luck, and it's all come from Brentwood. So we really appreciate you being there. I don't think there's any more we can expand much in terms of people. We are actually working shoulder to shoulder. But the great thing about our business is it's global and it's 24 hours a day. So this year I will have just over 700 different sporting events in 1 year. Now, for those of you not good at mathematics, that's nearly 2 a day somewhere. So we are 24 hours a day working. We have shift systems built in for edit suites. We have people come in. I don't even know when they arrive. They come in, but I don't see them go home. So I'm assuming everyone's happy, and as they should be. We have facilities at Maskell's that most companies can only dream of. So we will have a full-time coach. We have a full-time well-being officer. We have dietitians. We will supply all of our staff with proper meals, dietary control meals. We have people that lose a lot of weight working at Matchroom because they're looked after. We have swimming pools there. We do internal triathlons. And I think there was 14 of them, including Wendy Barker, my company secretary, who was in her late, I'm going to say mid to late 60s, that ran the Brentwood Half Marathon this year for the first time in her life. And that's the sort of thing I want to see. It's all very well talking about things, but I want to see things happen. We only have a limited amount of time in this world, and there's a hell of a lot going wrong. And a lot of those problems will, gentlemen and ladies, fall on your laps over the next few months. So all I would say in closing is I am deeply honoured to get this. I was slightly disappointed I didn't get anything for it. When I got the freedom of London, I can drive my sheep twice a year over London Bridge, and no such offering from Brentwood at all. I thought at least my dog could spoil the footpath or something. I was pleased when I got invited into the Tombs of London for this offer, that if I do something really bad, which as Barry Aspinall knows better than anybody, I'm probably quite capable of on a bad day, I can only be hung with a velvet rope. Cord ropes are completely banned for anyone who has the freedom of London. You may not know all these things, but I don't think I'm even going to be allowed to get away with a parking ticket with you lot, so I'll just have to take it on the chin. Nevertheless, it's a big day for me. I love the fact that you people are beginning, I hope, to understand what makes this county so great. And what makes it great is we graft. We love a pound note. We don't like paying taxes, but we generate huge amounts of income. We want a little bit of a say in it, and what we want to do is encourage people like you to be brave, like we were brave when we were skinned. When we didn't say, like a fighter going out in the 10th round, he's been decked 3 times already. He gets up again if he's a proper man. And Essex is full of those type of people, and you've got to welcome them in and show the example that you care. Let's be brave. Let's work on the drug problem we've got in Brentwood. Let's work on the crime problem we've got coming. The number of kids with knives, the education that's required. We spend a huge amount of money going out trying to educate youngsters to saying, you're not brave because you carry a knife. You know, that's a girly thing to do. Proper men go to the gym, get rid of their aggravation in a nice, accessible way. So what we're all looking for is to say, the Brentwood people across this whole country are all entrepreneurs to an extent. They think about their life, their family all the time, and they want to live in a proper place, and they'll pay their dues. You can't have better people. These people will be loyal to you to the end if you're straight with them and give them 100% to say we're moving in the right direction. The Matcham Foundation began 7 or 8 years ago the aim was, we are not going to change the world. We don't have that power yet. But what we are going to do is look after where we come from, where we work, and the people that have made it happen. So we spread the gospel. We put a little wall around us as well. This is our land. This is our turf. We're not getting political, but we're saying we're going to work harder to make this place a better place. It's already pretty good. But as we all know in business, complacency is the biggest killer you can have. And we have a long way to go to make this place the pick of the country. But it can be. You're on the right road. But now it's going to need to really graft like Essex boys and girls have always done. You can always tell the benefits, if you like, of a community. I had a lot of snooker halls in this area. The one at Brentwood took more money than any other snooker hall we had. The guys work hard and they spend hard as well. They want to save money for their old age, but they want to live a life. They're the best customers I can ever have. And I think they're the best residents that you will be looking after. So God bless in everything you do. Remember where you came from. Remember what was important when you was young and stick with it, because these people around this area will stick with you. For me, you have no choice. My son's buggered off to Monaco, thoroughly enjoying his world where net equals gross, which is really tough to take. And I'm paying for the old people of Grimsby. And I'm very, very happy because I'm British and I'm from Brentwood and I'm going nowhere. So thank you for the honour. I deeply appreciate it, and thank you for putting up for the ramblings of an old man. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Barry. Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes tonight's presentation. Please remain in the chamber before we start annual council.